Hey guys, welcome to another little insight into me editing a photo. It's nothing really more exciting than that, but I've been sat on some edits for a long time now, and I try and post consistently for many reasons. One, to just keep things moving forward, but just to maintain a practice. It's quite easy to forget to take photos and work on your edits and work on your story, work on your voice, work on your message, work on your style, everything from then. So this is this week's kind of attempt at posting photo. I'm a little bit behind and basically caught up with all previous photos that I've edited. So now it's like starting a new edit, and I'm attempting to edit some photos I took back in April this year here in Bali. I want to maintain kind of the Indonesian kind of series. I still have so much to show and tell and take when it comes to Indonesia and my experience with it. So without further ado, let's jump in. This is a selection of photos I took of a lady with her morning offerings. This was obviously like just shortly after sunrise in the east of Bali. And I have not seen these before. So I obviously saw that they came out and they were as exposed as I wanted them to be. But in terms of like thinking about what I'm going to select and why, and then how the edit's going to be, I've done like initial selections, so initial flagging, and then as I normally do, is my own way of doing it, coloring them blue with ones that I want to kind of explore and look at further, with the hope of getting down to a final selection of a few and then choosing the final one for that. So as you can see, like if I put the ratings, I rate these kind of like 5 stars as to the ones I actually want to go ahead and edit, or at least really like finalize the ones I really want to go and edit. These are like my final selections. So, as you can see, what I'm struggling with at the moment is just choosing a photo. Like, I don't want to be showing all these photos. That's not the way we want to do things. And we want to select maybe 2 or 3 that could be a post on Instagram, but when it comes to website, printing, product work, and your general kind of art sales or curation, or thinking about a book or a general series, then again, you really kind of want to go with a main image, which for this, like it was such a beautiful setting that I was lucky to be part of, and I just can't select. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to choose this one, which, as you can see, what I sometimes do is I look at the crop first. I've already cropped this 16 by 10. Now, I could do that to all of these images, but what I'm looking at here is the top sun. I'm looking at her. Obviously, I want her centered. I don't think it works, mainly because of the framing here with the fence. This was a fence I was kind of peeking through. So other crop kind of ideas also doesn't work in my opinion. So I'm happy with almost like a wide screen. I know I've got a vertical of something similar here. So in terms of that's the impact of social media on us these days, isn't it? So, for every horizontal, get a vertical as well, which I hate, but it does make my life easier, because when I do post this on just Instagram, really, the other platforms that I post on, I know I can do horizontal, no problem, and like better resolution, but Instagram's just Instagram, isn't it? So I know that, I've got this as well as the horizontal, but for the purposes of this video, I could choose this one. So I'll crop this the same, and then we can kind of get a better idea of what it's gonna look like. See, this one is slightly off center, right? You can see her, if we go back, it depends on what you're wanting the feeling. What feeling do we want to evoke in the viewer? Well, if you're going to be off centered, you're gonna evoke a feeling of kind of non-equilibrium. So if you look at this image, it's mainly about peace. There's some ethereal atmosphere to it because of the mist and the light rays and the sun, and the fact she's praying to a higher being. then maybe her being off center is not quite the equilibrium and the peace that we want to imbue in this image. So, I mean, obviously we could, if it was very different in terms of the subject, and I preferred it, we could then really center it like this. But I don't like cropping unless we really have to, right? So let's go with this one for now. It's still, I mean, having said that, I would probably put her eyes kind of on the center line here. Always go full screen. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I think I did that too much. Same old. Change the grid here. Let's get her. Okay, that's nice. Okay, so let's look at this in abstract. You know, there's really not much to do there. There's not much to do. I'd like to enhance the mist. I'd like to blow out this more because it's too highlighty. So I don't think we can reduce the highlights here so much. No, there's just no detail up here, right? So we can just go the other way, and I'll do a radial mask here to just make it more hazy, right? So we don't have these sharp, blown out edge circles here. It just looks, the sun was quite high, so I'd rather just kind of blur and blow that out altogether. I want to enhance these light rays even more, and maybe touch these highlights here. Maybe we can remove these in Photoshop, or I can just kind of reduce the highlights. We'll play with that. Love the green. You know, there's a lot of color we can bring out here. And the big decision really that I'm thinking about here is to make her a complete silhouette to add that real contrast and a bit more power to the image. Or do we want it softer? We want to bring out more of these shadows. I love the framing. I think I do want her in more of a silhouette. I want that to be a very impactful subject, impactful foreground. So with that, imagining a bit more haze and light rays coming through in the background, I think will work. So let's get to it. Again, we'll start from top to bottom. I'll try and make my screen a little bit easier to see for you. Or about profiles. Histogram is obviously, you know, weighted more towards the shadows. It's obvious because I think I'm on evaluative metering here in the camera, and you know, I just basically wanted to meter for the center, and you've got all these completely shadowed out parts here which are taking over the image. So if I hover over there, yeah, obviously that's going to be, I'm not going to worry too much about that. White balance I am going to worry about. I mean, I'll put it in the haze, see if it can get that. That's gone too purple. At the moment it's a bit green. I don't have many neutral colors here to pick from. Let's just try it again. This bit of smoke. Yeah, it's a little bit purple, but we can adjust that. I'd add more, definitely add more warmth to add to that kind of comfort feeling with peace and tranquility. Or you go cool, it's a bit more dramatic. Let's stay with warm. I'm a warm kind of guy. I think that reflects more of the morning sun. I just straightened it there. I noticed it's a little bit off kilter, and now we can just adjust the crop. I'm one of those guys that has to crop first, because otherwise I just can't concentrate on anything else. Call that OCD, call that weirdness, whatever. A lot of people would suggest that you crop at the end, which obviously we'll think about and we'll adjust if necessary. Crop's always difficult, especially when I'm filming. Don't know, I have trouble with it. I would bring that up a little bit there. Okay, now let's take care of the exposure. So I think that's okay. I think highlights are okay as well. Now shadows, I think they're okay. Whites don't want too much here. Just add those a little bit. Blacks as well, I don't care about that. I want the blurredness on the frame. Clarity, yeah. Okay, so how do we want to do this? We want to isolate her. I want her to be quite sharp. So I wonder if it will pick up the subject here. No, because it's a bit hazy. Well, no problem. We'll have to brush her in. Make sure auto mask is on here. If we go over the lines, we can just move them. That's about it. It doesn't need to be too exact because I'm just going to drop the exposure a little bit. Make sure the clarity is maintained. I'm not going to increase the clarity because it's just going to look weird and fake and over-edited. That'll do for now. Let's just see first. Let's dehaze this. So obviously way too much. By the way, I'm sorry about the audio. I'm in my office and it's rush hour, so we've got loads of bikes coming past. Yeah, a little bit, 5. Drop that a little bit, add clarity a little bit, because again, it looks awful, right? But I'm going to remove a little bit here so it's not so sharp. And it looks awful for now, but what I'm going to do is just going to do a radial. Do one here first, and I'm gonna just make this hazy, warm. Let's do a luminance range. No, no, like that. It's a bit annoying. I'm gonna have to. It's not recognizing the subject. Recognize the people. Oh. Let's try an object. Oh, God. Okay. We got there in the end. So I think that's too much. Obviously, I've gone way overboard with the dehaze. Oh, I like the texture of the greens in here. Let's just do it before and after here. That's lovely. Okay, let's work down here a little bit. Dehaze. I think it's enough. I might do a global dehaze of about 5. And then I'm going to add another haze here. No, I'm not. I actually don't know how much more haze I want to add here. Maybe enhance a little bit over here. I forgot to remove this mask from the tract. Let's do another object. No, it's not being so kind to me. Let's just do a brush and let's go low feather. Try that again. Too much. I'm not doing so well, am I, at the moment? Okay, right. I want to decrease the highlights in this area. I know I'm kind of jumping to masks and gradients and stuff, but there's not much to do on the global side of things. Yeah, that's better. In fact, what I'm going to do is a brush here. Don't use brushes enough. Keep the flow down. I'm going to bring the highlights, and I'm going to show the overlay. Just want to do these highlights. Even these ones a bit as well, just to soften it. Now what that's done is it's taken away the mist a little bit here, hasn't it? Okay. Let's just do it a little bit then. Actually, I'm going to delete that. Oops. You see, I'm not having a good editing day. At this point in reality, you'd probably stop and just go, yeah, I'm not, you know, there's some red flags that telling me that I'm not doing a great job and I need to give it more attention. But let's crack on anyway, because, you know, to be honest with you, there's not much I want to do. I do want to sort this area out, and I want to do some dodge and burn and bring out the brightness of this mist a little bit, even add some more light rays. But, you know, it's not bad. Let's just run through the tone curve I do in Photoshop. Let's sort the color out. It's always a big one. I don't like her purple hue here, which we'll sort out in a minute. There's a bit of red in there as well. I made that more orange. I like analogous colors. If we're gonna do the orange or yellow with the sun, I want to kind of match her clothes if we can. I'm gonna make the yellow just like have a little green tinge, and the green have a little yellow tinge. quite a lot. Again, this might be very difficult for you to see on your screens, but I'm really looking at the greens. Where the greens I can see are basically here, here. I mean, there's very little, right? Most of it's so dark. I might even go up to like 60. Maybe that's too much. Let's go to 40. Yeah, that's nice. Aqua, I don't think there's much aqua. Don't think there's much blue either. See how I go to extremes to actually see where it is. Now we can just obviously get a pointer here. It's just going to be the oranges, which I don't use that much most of the time. You know, these cameras are so, or my Hasselblad is so good with its natural color solutions. I don't have to do too much. But sometimes in Bali, they have quite extravagant clothing, or should I say extravagant colored clothing. So that's usually the thing I have to change. See, I want to bring this orange out here, this yellow out here a little bit. So actually we can do a point color. It's obviously done it all. So I'm actually gonna leave that and probably do it in Photoshop. A bit more comfortable with Photoshop. Now, yeah, that's fine. Purple, okay, so we've got a lot of purple here. Maybe it's magenta. Magenta and red. Okay. That's better. Now I like the tinge that the sun is kind of bringing out and transparent through the clothing. So that's why I put the saturation up, because it kind of gives, now we've changed the hue of that saturation, hue of that red to a more orange to match the sun. We can easily go up with the saturation. We'll bring it down, looks a little bit bleh. All right, so I'm just going to put that up there and give it a lot of kind of orange flavor, and then obviously the yellow. I don't like the hue, the yellow, made a mistake there, a bit too green. Let's go back to here. In fact, the whole thing is a bit green. And remember, once you change one thing, it's likely going to affect the rest. Just a bit of color contrast. Let's get these up a little bit. I like the luminance of the edges of her clothes. Green as well could come up. Really, really subtle, which is perfect. Just going to leave that one. Okay, still don't love the hue. I think the green, I went too far with the green. And yeah, I went too far with the orange. That's really nice now. Okay, color done. I might add some color grading. So when it comes to midtones, I might just add that orange in there. So I'm finding my hue first. about there. Pressing shift to get the straight line. Now I can just change the saturation easily, just going up and down. Again, not too much. Shadows are going to be, it's a bit too cinematic. I kind of like the green to match the, trees. Again, just a tiny little bit, like, maybe actually a red here. Again, just analogous. No, it looks too filmic, which I love, but we don't need it for this. That's better. It's all going to be almost monochromatic. Just going to bring the shadows down a little bit. Highlights, to be honest, it's going to be something the same. We're just almost saturating the reds and the oranges here. I'm going to blend them quite a lot. I don't want it too much, but balance there. Now I feel that we've got a lot of faded shadows. Bring that up there. Might just do that in Photoshop actually. Yeah. Whoops. Don't do that. Reset that one. Sharpening always down to 0. I don't see any chromatic aberration. We're going to just check that anyway. And don't want a vignette. Okay, so really that's taken us far too long, but it's a basic adjustments. I really don't like the blown out leaves here. Everything else is cool. I'm gonna do some lines here in the dodge and burn function of Photoshop. Bring out this orange a little bit. And then, yeah, get the curves going. So bring this into Photoshop. Okay, so let's duplicate the background, get rid of that. Let's just sort out the contrast first. Whoops. I just have an action, but you know, you do new adjustment layer, curves, shadows here. I'm going to just drop them, bring the tiny little less curve. I wish Photoshop would do a better job of this. Yeah, that's good. Now let's see what fade the blacks looks like. The thing with fading blacks is it gives a more of a retro feel, which I don't think this photo is suitable for. But when you've got haze and mist, then maybe that kind of faded black will give it a little bit more of an ethereal atmosphere. So I like it. It's good. Dodge and burn. So I click on the layer. Actually, I'm going to remove these first with our spot removal tool. For the benefit of your sanity, we can fast forward this bit. Okay, so basically remove some of the bigger distractions. This is where I don't mind the concept of removing things structurally in Photoshop. Call it cheating, yeah, but I wouldn't have been able to get this shot at a different time of day and therefore not have these blown out leaves. So you either accept the fact that you can get a shot like this with a few adjustments where you're not actually changing the structure, you're not actually moving things around, you're just hiding some stuff, which is no real difference than using the frame to hide some of the frame. using the frame of the fence to hide some of the frame. So one important thing is always zoom out and kind of like squint your eyes and see where your eyes get distracted from, like that part, that part. What's this? Okay, I wonder if we can be careful here. Again, maybe this one. Maybe these. You want to leave some in, and you want it to look completely fake. All right, before, after. Okay, now remember when we brought the exposure and I think we brought the blacks down on her. We kind of didn't do it on a bottom half because we want to create layers. So what we've done, if you look at the original, let's just go before. Here she kind of blends into the haze, but here she sticks out in front of this haze, but you have this mist and haze in front of her. So you kind of have this layer, the layer of her, and then the layer behind you. You're working now with 3 layers rather than here. It just all kind of blends into one. So that's the beauty of just simple editing. I still don't love the color, but we're going to sort that out at the end. Not a huge deal. Sorting out these distractions. Cool. Okay, so now we'll do some dodge and burn. And let's start up here. I want to start with just bringing out a little bit these white light rays. Again, I might want to fast forward this bit, get a little boring. The important thing to remember with dodging burning is it's so easy to not realize the changes you're making. So always go before and after. I mean, look how big the difference is already. But when you're doing it, you don't really see the difference. And here, it's a little bit more pronounced. We'll do the burning in a minute. A little bit here on the smoke, and then a little bit here on the smoke, a bit here, or after. I mean, just focus on the rays. We've just accentuated these a little bit, which really works nicely. So all of it together, before, after. Before, after. Created a bit more atmosphere, especially in front of her, using these layers. Now we'll go and burn some of this, just to, again, don't want to get distracted with the foreground too much. And then we'll add a little bit of black in it. Not adding, we're just burning a little bit more in. Create these bit more distinct light rays. I wonder if we can do anything here. Nah. Sometimes you can get carried away, obviously. I want to keep this shadow here. Went too far then. No, it doesn't work. Okay. No worries. Okay. Let's Still don't like this shit here. Cool. So before, after, before, after. Okay, I'd like to add a little bit of mist here just to cover up this shit. Now, there are various ways we can do that. I'm going to show you one. Now, this is cheating. Again, I'm okay with it. There's some overlays you can get. If you want some overlays, just let me know. I can share some with you. Atmos here, we've got clouds and smoke. I'm just going to add a tiny little bit. I want fog. Probably the best one to do. How's that? That's literally all I wanted to do. And I want to make it the same color, right? So you can see this one has almost a bluey green hue to it. So I can add a photo filter and clip it only to that layer, and then add a cooling filter maybe. Yeah. A bit too blue. Want it more, yeah. And then what I'll do is I'll mask that and make sure it's not going over too much on this fence line. It's too much, honestly. I think it's so subtle like that. I've just spotted a little distraction. All right, we're nearly there, guys. Again, you could just spend hours. Right, I want to just do this. So it's going to be a hue saturation, and it's going to be, let's choose a color here, like an orange. Now, just to see what we're dealing with. Yeah, we want it more of it than that. Like that much. Okay. Sorry, I should be talking through what I'm doing here, but it's gonna take a while. It's nice, just a bit too much. It's always good to go like too much, and then you know really what you're dealing with. Lovely. I don't like this. So again, I'm going to just remove this. Love it. Okay, now we're gonna add a, okay, I really should explain to you what I'm doing, right? Do you know what? I don't even know. I'm so used to the keyboards, keyboard shortcuts. I don't even know how to give you a new, oh, merge visible. Here we go. Oh no, no. Jesus, this is bad, isn't it? I just want to create a new group from layers. No. What do they call it? Stamp visible. How do you do that? I just know it's Shift Command Option E. All that does is create a new layer from all of the bottom ones you've done. Okay, so if you deleted all these, you still got a whole layer. It's basically merge them all and create a new layer for you. I don't know how to do that from here because I just never do it. So maybe someone can tell me. Okay, so we're going to do two things. We're going to do an auto effect, which is basically merge visible, which we've done, add a Gaussian blur, make an adjustment. I'll do it for you. Okay, so filter, blur. Actually, I'll do a new layer. I'll do the same. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. And usually a good rule of thumb is half the pixels of your megapixels on your camera. So I'm on a 100 megapixel camera, set it 50 pixels. And then we're going to add a levels layer on top and clip it to that. And not going to do too much. Usually you'd want to adjust the whites until you see pure white and adjust the blacks until you see pure black, but we've already got that. So I'm not going to do too much to that. And then group it. Then change the opacity. This one we can go maybe up to 15 to give it that kind of really mystic effect. But I don't like it when the subject is also affected. So we're going to mask and just mask her away. Are we done? Okay, it's obviously way too much. Looks like you're looking through a... Keep it at 15. Keep things subtle. And then we'll do one final layer of sharpen. Now again, I have my own way of doing this. And I've just saved these as actions. If you want to know how to save an action, obviously you can either YouTube it, Google it, or just ask me. I won't go through that right now. It's going to be a sharp and unsharp mask, and then, yeah, kind of, it depends on how sharp your original image is, but we just want to adjust it slightly. I'm going to go to 2 pixels, 200%, because we're quite far away, so we might need a little bit of effort in doing it. Now, what the problem is, it pixelates the edges, especially when they're sharp edges, like you've got contrasting edges, which we don't want. So we're going to mask that, invert it so it's not affecting any of the image, and then we're just going to brush. And we're just going to brush in where we do want the sharpen. Just basically all of her without touching the edges, which I just did there. Now you can see close up, you're seeing the pixels. So again, you can go too far and then reduce the opacity. That's why Photoshop's so amazing. As a layer, it's a non-destructive layer, and you can just reduce the opacity if you do go too far. I mean, that's not a great way of doing it. You want to get it right first, because essentially you're sharpening big pixels here, but in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter too much. Oh no. It's just my OCD now. It just doesn't matter. Okay. Notice I haven't named any of these. Sharpen. Orton. Okay. The last thing I'll probably do in Lightroom, bring it back in, is just to do a little gradient mask here, just to, I don't like the brightness at the bottom. Okay, so before, after. See how all these subtle adjustments just build up and it's a nice kind of smooth effect. Okay, save, bring it back into Lightroom. Okay, so now we have it in Lightroom. This was the image we exported and put into Photoshop, and this is the image we brought back in. So again, nothing like too crazy, but just some really lovely subtle adjustments to add feel and depth. The last thing I'm going to do is add this linear gradient here and do very simply drop the exposure. Before, after. A little bit too much. I just add that actually. That's better. Okay, it's a little bit green. I'm going to add a little bit of tint and a little bit more warmth. Okay, 5. As well, and a bit more, even a bit more warmth. Color is something, it's just so easy to get wrong. I feel like I've got it wrong, but you never know until you kind of look at it with fresh eyes on a different day, on a different device. Before, after, before, after. I mean, I like the coolness actually, so I'm gonna put the blue back down, and then therefore just, yeah, it was just a bit green, so I'm going to put that maybe at 5. There we go. That's cool. Love it. Full screen. Beautiful. Hope that helped. Let me know if you've got any questions.